So there's trouble also in the White House. In fact, the White House in a statement has said that there's no possibility that President Joe Biden would pardon his son, Hunter. U.S. President Joe Biden's son, Hunter Biden, is facing charges of failing to pay taxes on more than $1.5 million in an income between 2017 and 2018. Now asked whether Biden might issue such a pardon, White House spokesperson told categorically at a press conference, no. Now, Hunter Biden's proposed deal with prosecutors to plead guilty to tax charges and avoid a gun charge hit a snag on Wednesday when a judge in the case said that she needed more time to review the agreement. This means that the younger Biden's legal woes will continue to harass the president as he campaigns for the re-election in 2024. So, Sanjay, we were talking about one form
that the president would end up pardoning his son.
No. I just said no. I just answered. Go ahead. Hunter Biden is a private citizen, and this was a personal matter for him. As we have said, the president, the first lady, they love their son, and they support him as he continues to rebuild his life. This case was handled independently, as all of you know, by the Justice Department under the leadership of a prosecutor appointed by the former president, President Trump.
In my experience, I'm here to tell you that the Delaware U.S. Attorney's Office and Department of Justice handling the Hunter Biden tax investigation was very different from any other case in my 14 years at the IRS. At every stage, decisions were made that benefited the subject of this investigation. For example, prosecutors concealed contents of Hunter Biden's laptop from investigators. DOJ slow-walked steps to include interviews, serving document requests, and executing search warrants. Warrants that were ready as early as April of 2020, but were delayed until after the November 2020 election and never pursued.
In the Criminal Tax Manual, Chapter 10, found on the DOJ website, Tax Division policy states that cases involving individuals who fail to file tax returns or pay a tax, but who also commit acts of evasion or obstruction should be charged as felonies to avoid inequitable treatment. In early August of 2022, federal prosecutors from the Department of Justice Tax Division drafted a 99-page memorandum. In so, they were recommending for approval felony and misdemeanor charges for the 2017, 18, and 19 tax years. That did not happen here, and I am not sure why.
I want to see justice move forward for Hunter Biden and hope that he'll acknowledge his responsibility for the proceeding that will go forward, and the judge will make a decision on sentencing that I hope will be fair and just, with an acknowledgement of that responsibility on his part. I think on impeachment, my hope is that the House puts aside what is essentially a distraction from the real task at hand, which is making sure that our government is funded for the coming fiscal year. And the impeachment imbroglio may be an excuse or a distraction from the real work that the House has to do, and the Senate as well. So I hope that we'll focus on what's really important to the American people.
So, Sanjay, this really gets interesting because if Donald Trump is going to hit back by saying, first, I'm not guilty, I'm being deliberately targeted, you know, for all you know, tomorrow he's going to turn around and tell Joe Biden, please look at yourself, look at your mirror. Your son himself is involved in these kind of allegations.
You know, this kind of quid pro quo has been around in public space, and it has been alleged a good deal by GOP, God's own party, the Republicans. But really, there is no equivalence in fact or in law. Here we are talking about the former president taking classified documents home, exhibiting them to strangers against the law and against all norms. On the other hand, we have the president's son, and the president has said that he is not going to intervene and use his presidential powers to protect his son. And the son clearly has been charged with a number of offenses, and these are relating to tax evasion, tax delays at the very least, and then making an inaccurate declaration about his drug use and addiction, in obtaining a gun license. These are quite serious offenses. Now, there has been a good deal of negotiation whether he should plead guilty to some of these tactically, or that fell apart in court. That is set to proceed further. For the moment, he is pleaded not guilty. Clearly, that dealing itself is a bit suspect, as the judge had noted, but whether there is an equivalence with Donald Trump is far from certain.
Thank you very much, Sanjay, for giving us those updates. Certainly, the American elections promises to be very, very exciting.